My name is Vern Hoven.
And I'm Sharon Kreider, and we're here in Bozeman, Montana, and we're working on our two-day 2020-21 Federal Tax Update webcast. And we wanted to let you know what we're going to do in that webcast. You know what we're going to do, Vern? Lots and lots and lots, cram-packed, because this has been a year of the perfect storm. And we've been stormed upon with lots of legislation, lots of new regulations, everything happening in slow motion because of COVID-19 and the pandemic. So we're going to talk about the CARES Act and what few things apply from that for changes for 2020 for our individual clients. We'll look at the new Form 1040 and some changes that were made on that you need to know about and the why the changes were made. Then we'll talk about IRAs and pensions, because after we've talked through some of these individual changes, you might want to retire and you'll need to know about the Secure Act and how it changed things for us in retirement and retirement planning. So we'll talk through pension and IRAs. We need to give you an update on things happening in real estate. All along, as we do that for the individual, we'll be feeding in what we think COVID is doing, what COVID has done, for example, for real estate rents dropping, or business income dropping, or wages dropping, and unemployment and withholding, and estimated taxes. Gee, that got to be a long list for a moment. Then we need to talk about estate planning, and particularly because Secure changed the stretch IRA for non-spousal beneficiaries to just a 10-year period where all of the inherited IRA or pension account had to be distributed within the 10 years. We need to review in the estate and trust chapter the comparison between a conduit trust and an accumulation trust. Not from the point of view of estate planners or estate attorneys, but from the point of view of an accountant, a tax practitioner needing to tell their client something. That's the individual. Then we have another day on business. And in business, we have lots of changes too. We have to talk about opportunity zones. We have to talk about the comparison between the 179 and the bonus depreciation. We have to catch up a little tiny bit on qualified business income deduction and the couple of issues that still are outstanding. We'll do a little bit on updating the entities for LLC and S Corporation and the C Corporation, just so you're up to date. Payroll issues are big this year because of sick pay and family leave and how that works for the self-employed as well as the employer, the employer payroll tax deferral, the employee tax deferral, the employee payroll tax deferral. All of that is sitting in our payroll chapter to update us on that. IRS, we've got to talk about IRS too, just a little bit about their slowdown and what they're doing for COVID and some other news in the IRS area. Now, different than what we've done in the year before, we have called upon some guests. So we're going to have guests speaking for short periods in some of their expertise in some of our areas. For instance, Dave Jarmus is an attorney and CPA, and he specializes in international issues, and he'll spend 10 or 15 minutes just updating you from an expert's point of view on FBAR and FATCA and some of those international considerations. Steve Siegel is an attorney who specializes in estates and trusts, and he'll talk to you about the new regulations on excess terminations and on the excess deduction at termination of the estate and trust. And he'll spend 10 or 15 minutes giving you what's important in that new in the new regulations from the IRS.
And we got Alice Orzankowski coming and joining us.
And Alice is a CPA on the East Coast. Not only does she have a tax practice, but she's a farmer. And so we'll have her, that sort of unique picture of her talking about choice of entity for, again, limited time. And finally, we'll have Mark Side, who spent 10 years in examination at the IRS. And that means he gets our IRS chapter to give us some news on that. But in addition, he's just filmed for a webcast 3 hours on 163J. 163J is on the business interest deduction limitations. We're going to have him give us just a small piece of information, again, in the 10 to 15 minute, that helps us with the update to the regulations on 163J. We hope that all of that combination of bringing us together, Karen Brosi with Sharon Kreider on the federal California update, where we get California into this also, that we will have done something unique in providing information to you on our federal tax update webcast and on our federal California tax update webcast. That put me out of breath just telling you everything we have to do to get ready for year-end planning and to get ready for tax season. So we hope that we're together in one of our webcasts.